The housing market, there's about five different states where foreclosures are absolutely going up. The state of Florida is not one of them. And right now, the state of New York is holding up. But South Carolina, Missouri, Pennsylvania, Texas, and Indiana.
Texas.
Yeah,
Huh,
absolutely.
interesting.
Remember, and by the way, we don't see it here yet, but you're probably going to see it soon,
Coming.
right? Texas is one of those first locations where you have a lot of people. Before we saw this type of migration that's taking place to the state of Florida, it was Texas first. Everybody was just like from California to everybody was just going to Texas.
Right.
You know what I mean? And so
It's more affordable than Florida.
it was 1,000 times more affordable.
That's why
and even today, still,
Yes,
even
it
today,
is,
if you
yeah.
compare, a $500,000 home out there, $500,000 here, you get
It's
into
huge
almost
difference.
big
Yeah.
difference. And so, but those foreclosure numbers are going up. The housing market right now is literally not easy to read. You got to dig in to see the signs. I think that you mentioned something about the National Association of Realtors right now for the first time
Yes.
dropped below what number?
1.5 million.
1.5 million
Members, yeah.
members.
Yeah.
Right? Do we know what was the
Well,
highest?
2022 was like it was 1.6, 1.7-ish, and for the first time it's dropped.
So let's call it over 100,000 people nationwide just decided to say, hey, I got to go look
I'm
for
not gonna
something else.
renew my membership.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
Makes sense.
By the way, and
I'm not
that
surprised.
also means I'm gonna park my license because most of the people are either you have brokerage firms that do not subscribe to the National Association of Realtors, meaning they're real estate agents, but they don't call themselves realtors, and they're not connected to any association or any membership.
Right.
It's not that they don't operate properly; they
Yeah.
just don't want to be connected to anything, the additional fees, whatever the case may be, right? But they're still going to be operating.
Right.
But there's another group that are just like literally, hey, I'm parking my license, I'm done with this thing.
Yeah.
It got crazy, it got a little messy. This is the kind of stuff that you got to dig in a little bit just
Yeah.
to see what's actually happening with the housing market and the economy.
Yeah.
So, and it is just so you know, a lot of realtors. I've seen a lot of realtors transitioning to some other markets right now, just because of the concerns. State of Florida is holding up. State of Florida is holding up right now. You see some issues, but let's see how this summer is going to take off and what's going to happen. The projection here is commercial can potentially have a lot of problems, but hey, if you look around and you see 1,000 commercial projects going up, you know what I mean? You see a lot of buildings for apartments, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Complexes going up.
Yes.
You see a lot of stuff that traffic here in Orlando is gotten a little tougher just because we have a lot of people moving in here, so that helps to keep it up. But at some
Yeah.
point, remember, those things, that growth stabilizes or drops,
Yeah.
right? And so it has spikes and then or it
Mhm.
goes, it stabilizes, whatever the case may be. You're gonna see the consequences of that. But I think if you're a realtor, you want to be paying attention to some of the stuff that's going on in the market because unfortunately, this is one of those industries that had the tendency to lie to each other. You know what I mean? Hey, how is the market doing? Don't worry
Right.
about it. We're gonna be great. It's coming. How is the market doing? But nobody's making any money.
Yeah, correct.
And everybody deep inside is concerned about the fact that they don't understand why the activity dropped or why things get a little more complicated. What's actually happening with interest rates? Is anything going to
Yeah.
loosen up as we go into the market? The
Yeah.
announcement is there's going to be no drop until maybe after summer. That doesn't help the market on any way, shape, or form. So let's see what
Yeah.
happens. But
Yeah.
I'm hoping for people to at least look for places where they can get some honest feedback about the market because at the end of the day, remember, that's how you make money.
Yeah.
And if you're lying to yourself,
Correct.
eventually,
account is not gonna lie to
your
you.
bank account is gonna give you, is gonna reveal the truth.
Yeah.
What's taking place. By the way, 401ks also, guys.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
like
yeah.
people are more than ever tapping into it. Like, is everybody saying, how's everybody doing? Well, if you are using today the money that was meant to be for your retirement, I think we have a problem.
Absolutely. Yes. It's a big problem.
I think we
Yeah.
have a problem. So, I don't know if the numbers are going to go down in terms of prices, cost, or anything like
Yeah.
that. The only other choice that we have is to learn to make a little bit of money. I think that a lot of people are underappreciating that incredible skill, which is to be somebody who actually knows how to make money.
Okay. So I don't know if it's a prediction, but this is my prediction.
There you go.
All right. So
All right.
I feel like real estate as a whole, it used to be like if you were a real estate agent, people would look at you like a doctor. at some point, right? I felt like they've slowly but surely been, degrading to where now it's kind of like people look at you more like a nurse, and I think we're now entering the stages where you look at a real estate agent like a CNA. You get what I'm saying? Where it's like you would have been better off getting a regular job, honestly. Now, not to say there aren't going to be brokers who are making millions of dollars. That's always going to exist. But I think for the average real estate agent, like people are going to look at you like like it's not a big deal anymore, and I think that's the direction real estate is going in, where it's going to be good for like I said, big brokerages where they got hundreds or thousands of agents working with them, but the average agent, you're going to be an employee. You're going to be an employee. You might even get paid a salary just to show people houses, but I don't even think you're going to. Like I don't see. I think it's going in a decline that's not going to get better as far as.
I think that there's definitely going to be an evolution of the market. I cannot tell you. I mean, the fact of the matter is that you have some very good agents in the market, and you got some that never sell out to the idea of being a good salesperson and to be a good sales agent, and to be a good real estate agent.
Yeah.
The fact of the, and by the way, every industry has that
That's
issue.
true.
You have the guys who are performing at the top, and you got some people that never sell out to the idea, so they always.
Yeah.
Barely making it. It's like I got a license, but the fact that you have a license doesn't mean that you're really doing it. You know what I mean?
Correct.
And you have a lot of people in that industry, no different than any mortgage brokers and even insurance. You know what I mean? Where we have so many people that get the license, but they don't do anything with it. Then you have another group of people that are doing it enough to just pay their bills. You know what I mean? Like hey, this is this. If I can make this happen, if I can get that going. And there's another layer that is already thinking in terms of growing the business a little bit. They know that they can be the 250, $500,000 type of guy, and they work for that. They go after. And there's a group of people that have the ability to talk about millions of dollars. You know what I mean? And they do both. They service the market. And they also play the market, meaning I'm an investor. I own the property.
I got you.
I put myself in that. And I will tell you, very few people will become a multi-million-dollar producer in that industry or just to be in the industry. That's a very small group of people that have the ability to create a structure that allows them to do that. Most of them have to play the market. It's through the ownership and through the proximity of it, which is not a bad thing. You know what I mean? If you can deal with the risk. My final thing about that is the evolution, the risk for the realtor today is the rate of speed as to how technology is changing how we interact with each other. Because you're seeing right now, I mean, again, it's going to go back to law and order, right? I keep saying that. If we don't get a handle of what we got going on out there, because by now the whole idea was we were going to have multiple grocery stores or supermarkets where all you were going to do, whether you wanted to work for yourself or not, or work for the supermarket, you're going to walk in, you don't have to take your wallet out. You were going to have something that immediately checked you in, you came in, like literally, whatever. You checked in and your way into the place. You grab whatever you want to grab, and then the way out, and everything was already adjusted to. You walked out, you didn't see anybody, you didn't see anybody. That's a privilege of trust. You know what I mean? That like we gotta trust that the people are going to play the system. You know what I mean? And they're gonna do it properly, and that they're gonna do it right. Imagine the whole idea of a realtor is there's a security component to that. You're gonna come into my house, and at least you're coming into my house with somebody who has a license, who's registered somewhere, who in order to walk into my house has to report that he's going into my, that just creates an additional layer of security for the person who is going to get to the point where that will not be needed because technology is going to allow you to do all of those things.
On your own.
Right, on your own. And you're not gonna be able to. Oh, you want to see my house? No different than that realtor. You gotta register here. You gotta do that, and there's gonna be enough tools to be able to gather that information that gives me the safety that I'm looking for. Then walk into my house. If anything is missing, right, then it's you. Right. So, but that is not there yet. And I'm gonna tell you, the crazier that it gets out there, the more you're gonna need the person. Because if you can't trust the individual who's going to walk into your house, then you need to trust the person who's going to bring them into your house. And that's why they still have a, I don't know, I wouldn't be concerned for the next, 10, 20 years. I think that still is a valuable market. but it's definitely changing,
Mhm.
and you just got to find a place in
Well,
in that environment.
Talk about changes. Also, commissions are being changed right now.
Correct.
That whole 6% is no longer.
It's almost never. It
6%.
has to be negotiated. You got to justify why
Mhm.
you that person who is going to be getting to, and it's going to get more and more aggressive. But it's holding up. It's 6 to 5. Some companies they come out and as a way of being more competitive to get the listings right.
Right.
They're like, hey, let me sell you the house. We only charge 4%. You only charge 3%. You only and so there's the 1% company out there, somebody that. I mean, I don't, again, I don't know what kind of
It's like
representation
the Walmart
you get.
of.
Yeah. You know what I mean?
So here's the way that I'm looking at it. By the way, I'm gonna be the future looks bright person for a minute. It's gonna get dark.
It's not looking bright.
It's gonna get dark for a
Shit
minute,
is
but
falling
just
apart.
hang tight there, right? Couple of things. Families are being squeezed right now, and there's no denying it. Families are being squeezed at the pump. They're being squeezed at the grocery store, and they're being squeezed with rent and all of these different costs. So, by the way, if they're tapping into their 401k, they're definitely not tapping into their 401k to buy more homes.
No.
They're tapping into their 401k to pay their bills,
Correct.
to be able to buy eggs and all of that stuff. So, I tell people, and you mentioned it, and it's so valuable that you said, it's like, look, money in real estate is not made by the realtor. Money in real estate is made by the investor. Most investors, they get their license and they said, well, I'm gonna be one of either the seller or the buyer, so I have the opportunity to make a percentage of the commission, and that's the money that I also throw into the investment property. That being said, with whatever is happening, NIR, more people are parking their license, more people doing those stuff. It feels, and maybe a little bit more, I've been reading a couple of people, and it's like, there's a lot of people saying, well, if you wish you would have been able to go back to 08, if you wish you would have been able to go back to even 07, when things started to look a little shaky and on sale, that's when you would have doubled down and purchased. So that's when, if you are the person that is like, let me go ahead and be savvy with my money, keep your powder dry so that you can make a couple of purchases. We don't know exactly when it's going to happen, but it's looking like things are being held right now by a MacGyver style thing, just because it is an election year as well. So God knows what's going to happen next year, regardless of who gets elected. So that means it's great news for the person that wants to become
The
an
market is
investor.
holding up, and the market is right now very confusing. And
That was not bright,
in
by
that-
the way.
in
That
that-
was
Of course
a lot
it is
of bad-
bright. There's
that
a
was
lot of
whoa,
bad
news.
Okay, my bad. Here's
There's so many
here's where it's
people.
at.
The
Hold
reality
on.
of
It's
it.
not.
Yeah.
There's a lot of wealth that can be
I
created
get
for the
you. I
person
get you.
that actually says, "Let me go ahead, let me be savvy, let me
I got
double
you.
down."
I
You
got
know
you.
how
It's
you
a
had
lot
bright
of.
light, you had the orange light.
No.
That was more orange light than bright light. Just so
No.
you know. Okay?
Well, look,
But-
I'm all about make your money. Just
I
be
got you.
savvy. Don't be buying stupid stuff right now. Let's keep your powder dry so you can go shopping.
Powder aside, the fact of the matter is that right
The right
now
powder, by the way.
is very difficult to read the market because again, I can give you 6, 7 different sources, 8 of them. Half of them will tell you how the whole thing is just falling apart,
Yeah.
and the other half will tell you how things are great. You know what I mean? It's holding up. The problem is that doesn't affect somebody who's not connected to the market. If you are connected to the market, in whichever capacity, whether you're an investor or you're somebody who actually work in the market,
Yeah.
all because you can definitely make a decent living out of this, but you have to work at a certain level. Listen, the problem with a license is that you can actually make money almost by accident. Some people connected to me out of the blue decided they want to sell or they want to buy, and I'm thinking that is the market. And so a good year in any industry, like you come into an industry, you got your license and everything went well, you have the worst possible understanding of what that market
That's
really
true.
is. You have to learn the industry. You
Yeah.
have to learn to be somebody who's going to really become part of the business. You got to learn to know why that makes you money and how to make more money. If you don't make the effort to do that,
Yeah.
then you just, again, it's like you out there on a daily basis hoping to get lucky. And sadly enough, we have way too many people right now that are just hoping
How
to
long
do it.
would you say it takes? Because if you ask me in insurance, 3 to 4 years, you know the market.
Yeah,
What
three
would
to
it
four.
take in real estate? Just about.
Probably right about that same time. You could, believe it or not.
Not
it could
that you're
be-
an expert. You just
it could be even less than that if you
Mm.
can. Again, if you make an effort
if you're
to.
intentional.
Yeah, you got to be intentional, and you
Right.
got to make a commitment not to waste a lot of time, because remember, there's a lot of time wasting when it comes to this industry. You're showing a lot of stuff, you don't know where it's going to go. A lot of people are chasing commissions opposed to chasing knowledge, and that goes across any industry,
Yeah.
right? It's like, if you're going to get a license, you got to be looking for who's going to be the person who's going to train me better than anybody else. Because that's the only way that you can compress time, right? You got to be in front of the people that actually already know the industry. You're going to be troubleshooting the whole situation. Then you go, and now you're in a better place. The person that goes out there and the only concern is, I need to have the highest commission structure right now. More than likely, nobody's training you because they don't have a vested interest. You're already taking all of it, so figure it out. There's no, somebody gets a real estate license and they want to be 100% commission. Guess what? You
Good
literally,
luck.
you're on your own,
Yeah.
right? And so, I think that unfortunately
Such a
is the
liability.
wrong way to approach the
Mhm.
business.
Yeah.
I think that the concept of mentorship, I think that every industry should have before you go hurt yourself, right? We're gonna run your first 5 transactions, your first 10 transactions, your first, so that you can literally understand every single one of the components that go connected to that process. And God willing, then the person in a faster way and establish a little more credibility, has a better knowledge base, gets better results. You know what I mean? Because then you become more confident about the industry, because you're more confident about how you are interacting with the
Right.
industry, and those things are super important. But anyway, guys, with that being said, any closing statements here for any of us that with all these amounts?
I would say the only thing I would say is this: is number one, we got to pay attention to what's going on. It's unfortunate that if it wasn't for TikTok, half of these things I would not know. So shout out
Yeah,
to
that's your source of information. No. Don't drag me to that.
He said I. He said I.
Yeah. Oh,
He said
okay.
So
okay.
no,
He
but
took
Fair enough.
but the truth is that even if you're on TikTok, you could easily be watching dance videos and not be paying attention to what's going on in the world or in your own backyard. So I think the biggest thing is that we got to know what's going on. The more information you have, the better decisions you can make. And more than anything, you already know, we believe in entrepreneurship. Forget what Bernie Sanders is talking about. Find a way to become an entrepreneur. Create more wealth for you and your family. And being a business owner / entrepreneur is going to be the way to do that. So that's my biggest thing.
Future looks bright, like exactly like you said. Don't be the 32-hour guy. Don't be chasing that. Value and seek mentorship. ABCs, associations, people that you surround yourself with, books that you read, and conferences and meetings that you put yourself in front of is super important. We always talk about it. It's a philosophy that we learned from a mentor, and it has the opportunity to move you up faster. If you are somebody that is a creator, don't get only sell out to one platform. It's like there's a lot of people that are making a lot of money in TikTok, but they are not familiar as to how to create in other platforms. Guess what? It's not just one platform. Do it in multiple ones. That's probably going to serve like 1 or 2% of the people that pay attention to us. But, you have to be able to not specialize in the market that you're being a part of, but be diverse enough where you have the opportunity to reach into different strategies to get yourself and your name out there if you're an entrepreneur.
Your future can become bright, if you surround yourself with the right people, if you start reading the right books, if you happen to be in the right environment, if you go to the right events or the right places where you can actually learn from other people. It can actually become that. But if you don't do any of those things, if you don't improve your position, your knowledge base, your relationships and things that you do, it's not going to look any brighter. It's going to be like orange light coming at you. That more than likely is an 18-wheeler that had bad lighting. And it's gonna, so, no, like there's serious bad things happening out there to many people, to the economy. And all I'm doing is I'm inviting you to take ownership of your process. You know what I mean? It's like, I don't want you to assume that it's going to be brighter just because the sun is going to be shining for everybody. It just doesn't work like that.
Sure.
It's like we start the day and some people are going through harder issues than other people. You know, I'm happy for the person who's doing well. I'm happy for the person that is already they already done the work and the commitments to do things better, but and to get better outcomes out of the sacrifices they're making right now. But I want to remind you, like things that are happening in a place like Haiti right now, where is that much. My heart goes out to the Haitian people. I'm hoping and praying that some kind of real meaningful solutions will come out of it. I'm deeply happy that we are in an election year. I promise you this is going to be one of those topics that we're going to have to address. And I'm hoping that there's some kind of accountability about this $13 billion plus the additional money that we're planning to send out there. There's a lot of great people that are going to need help. I hope the right people get help. I hope that we support the right ideas and the right initiatives. And if we do that, I think that we can make everything brighter. So
I like it. You
that's
should
what
put all that on a shirt.
is that what it? Oh my
God.
yeah. No, you know my T-shirt. You know what's coming at. Anyway,
Yes,
everybody,
yes.
hopefully this was helpful to you. Please share,
comment, subscribe.
make your comments. You know what I mean? We want to hear what you're thinking about. You know, Fannie Willings and TikTok. You know my position. I'm jumping in it at once. I don't have anybody spying on me. So anyway, with that being said, thank you.